Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Friday, February 19, 2016, around 8:12 in the evening, Billerica, Massachusetts. It's cloudy out now. We could get some rain or snow showers tonight. A coating to an inch possible. And this weekend's going to be about 50. And Monday could be interesting with maybe some rain or snow. Could accumulate a couple of inches. But the main event for the next 7 days for precipitation could be Wednesday with snow to rain back to snow. Could be significant. Some news to report. The Boston Celtics have waived David Lee away. It didn't work out for David Lee and the Boston Celtics, and he's free to sign with any team. And that's about it on the news. My third and final video blog subject of the night is the personality profile. Tonight's personality profile is about the host of Wheel of Fortune, Pat Sajak. Pat has hosted Wheel of Fortune since 1981, and he's done a lot of other things as well besides host Wheel of Fortune. Pat's real name is Patrick Leon Sajak, and he was born and he grew up in Chicago, Illinois. He is of Polish descent, and when he grew up, he idolized Jack Paar, a talk show host and comedian. And Pat went to Columbia College in Chicago, and when he was working there, when he went to college, he was working as a desk clerk at a hotel, and he got interested in radio. He entered a contest to be a guest teenage DJ for WLS Radio in Chicago, Dick Biodean's show, and he won it, and then he started off DJing in Chicago for WEEDC Radio in the overnight shift in the mid-1960s. And around this time, Pat joined the U.S. Army, and he worked on the Armed Forces Radio Network for Vietnam in the 60s. He actually was big in music. He actually went to Woodstock. And when he got discharged from the Army, he worked in a couple of radio stations as a DJ in Kentucky, and then he went to Nashville as like a DJ, and he worked for WSM, and eventually he moved over to the television side as a voice-over announcer, and eventually an anchor and a newscaster and a weatherman. Around the time in the mid-70s, Pat was seen on one Nashville television station, and the other two had John Test doing a news report, and the third television station had Oprah Winfrey doing the news. So it was three famous people in Hollywood who became big stars in Hollywood were actually anchoring local news in Nashville in the mid-1970s. And he developed a friendship with a guy named Dan Miller, and Dan Miller and Pat Sajak would become longtime friends because Dan was the anchor for the local news in the station that Pat was working at. In 1977, Pat moved from Nashville to Los Angeles to become the chief meteorologist for KNBC in the flagship station for NBC in West Coast Channel 4, and he would do some crazy stunts like fry eggs on the ground, and he had a real knack to do stuff, and a lot of producers thought like Pat Sajak would be a good national television host. In fact, he hosted two game show pilots. One was Puzzlers, produced by Mark Goodson and Bill Todman, shot for NBC in 1979. And when NBC executives looked at Puzzlers for a possible entry on NBC's daytime schedule, they thought it was a decent show, but they didn't like Pat Sajak as host because they thought his personality was too local and it would not fly on the national scene. So Puzzlers was shut down. And then in 1980, Pat hosted another game show which was going to be in syndication called Press Your Luck. Not that Press Your Luck where big bucks, no whammy, stop. This Press Your Luck was kind of based on the game Simon. It was produced by Ralph Edwards, but like syndicators thought Pat Sajak's like work as a host was, kind of too local, and they just didn't want to take a chance on that. In 1981, Merv Griffin saw like Pat on the weather on KNBC television and decided to make him the next host of Wheel of Fortune on daytime on NBC. NBC was mad because they did not want like him hosting a national show, and Merv made an ultimatum: you accept Pat Sajak as host, or I'll threaten to stop production of the show. And NBC did not want to lose a big time game show, so they let them decide. But we reluctantly agreed, and since 1981, Pat's hosted Wheel of Fortune first for daytime, then eventually from nighttime. And Pat's is very funny on the show. He has a lot of humor, and also Pat's appeared on many television shows, including 227 and LA Law and The Nanny, with hosting Wheel of Fortune with Vanna White. Also has appeared on several movies and television shows. He's appeared on several daytime game shows to promote Wheel of Fortune, including Password Plus, Super Password, Just Men, and Dream House. In 1984, Pat hosted a college bowl special for NBC, which was based on the 50s game show hosted by Alan Ludden. And Pat got real popular hosting Wheel of Fortune that CBS decided to name him a talk show host at late night to challenge Johnny Carson. And Pat Sajak brought his friend Dan Miller from Nashville as a sidekick, and the Pat Sajak show lasted on CBS late night from January 1989 through April of 1990. First it was 90 minutes, then it was reduced to 60 minutes, but the Pat Sajak show on CBS did not dent any ratings for Johnny Carson's Tonight Show. And also there was a new show, Arsenio Hall, that took a lot of viewers away from Pat Sajak. Also, Pat Sajak's with his talk show being canceled, he's substituted for many talk shows, including Larry King Live and Live with Regis and Kathy Lee and Regis and Kelly. He actually hosted a talk show on the Fox News channel called Pat Sajak Weekend in 2003. And other interests that Pat has, including he's a big baseball fan. He part of the Golden Baseball League in the 2000s, which was an independent baseball league. He was one of the investors for that. And he also hosted a baseball show on satellite radio. He's also a big NHL fan. He holds season tickets to the LA Kings. And also Pat Sajak loves crossword puzzles. He's written several books about crossword puzzles with his name on it. And he's a big supporter of the Republican Party. And since 1998, Pat owns a radio station in Annapolis, Maryland, WNAV-AM, and he lives there from time to time. And Pat's one of the probably one of the most famous game show hosts in history. He's closing in on 70 years old, and Pat Sajak probably won't host Wheel of Fortune forever. He says he doesn't want to host it until he's 83 years old, like Bob Barker hosted The Price is Right. Pat said in an interview years ago he wouldn't want to leave Wheel of Fortune before before his time was up for like hosting shows, so he'll probably be hosting Wheel of Fortune a few more years before he calls a career. Pat's like multi-talented with like hosting a game show and also trying talk show. I think if he had a better like luck with the late night talk show, he could maybe be a decent talk show host on like syndication or a network. And that's about it on him. That's about it on these video blogs: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. Tomorrow, 3 more video blogs coming your way. First video blog will be about the top 10 greatest sports athletes in Pittsburgh sports history. Second video blog of the day will be about Bob Backlund's WWF/WWF title reign from 1978 through 1983, which 38 years ago tomorrow he beat superstar Billy Graham for the title. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about Vanna White. Keep calm, everybody. I'm Julie Brennan Guy. Molly Rosenblatt of WCCO. Roxanne has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart has nice legs as well, and she's so stunning. Amy Swensey's the best, so awesome. Julie Donaldson of Comcast Sports in Mid-Atlantic is awesome, and Michelle Beto rocks. And in the words of Dee Patel last week, no bus. Don't forget Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. Questions, comments, concerns, shoutouts, plugs, and video blog suggestions. Private message me will be addressed. Goodbye, everybody. See you tomorrow.